Tonight on Skyline, the world suddenly feels unstable again. Explosions in New York, Iran threatening new attacks, American drones falling from the sky, China warning the United States over Taiwan, North Korea's nukes terrifying Washington and inside America itself. Cultural wars are exploding openly on camera. Everywhere you look tonight, fear is definitely rising. Military tensions are rising and powerful countries are preparing for situations nobody wants to imagine publicly. Well, the question is no longer whether the entire world is changing. The question now is, how dangerous is this new world becoming? Well, I'm Driti Atri, and tonight we break down 9 explosive stories shaking America, the West Asia, and the global balance of power. Let's start with one of the world's most important cities, New York City. That's right, one of the most powerful cities on the planet Earth. And suddenly, that city is hearing a massive explosion that ripped through the shipyard. Smoke, it rose into the sky. Firefighters, they rushed in, sirens were everywhere. And then there was another explosion. That is exactly what happened in Staten Island. A fire followed by a powerful blast. A New York shipyard has left one person passing away and dozens injured, including firefighters and emergency responders. The whole situation became even more terrifying when a second explosion happened while firefighters were already inside the structure, trying to control the blaze. Can you think about the moment? Rescue teams entering, believing that they are going to save lives. And suddenly the building, it explodes again around them. At least 3 first responders reportedly suffered serious injuries. More than 200 emergency personnel rushed to the scene, and officials described the whole incident as a complex, fast-developing emergency. Now, here's what makes this story even more dramatic. This was not just a random location. The dock reportedly sits on a historic shipyard once linked to Bethlehem Steel, basically a company that built warships for the US Navy during World War II. And tonight, the investigators are still trying to answer the biggest question of all. What really caused the explosion? Because in today's tense global environment, specifically amid Iran-Israel and the United States confrontation, every major explosion inside America, it instantly creates fear, speculation, and concern. And while New York struggles to understand a deadly explosion tonight, another crisis is now escalating, and that to thousands of miles away. This time involving Iran and direct threat against America itself. Ladies and gentlemen, Iran is sending a chilling message tonight. The war may not be over. In fact, Iran is openly suggesting something bigger could still be coming. According to reports, Iranian officials have warned that they prepared new scenarios, new targets, and advanced military tactics for future confrontation with America and Israel. Now, pause for a moment here and think about how dangerous that language really sounds. New targets, new tactics, war beyond the region. Now, this is no longer a routine political rhetoric. This sounds like preparation. Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard Corps, they are now reportedly claiming that Tehran has still not used all of its military capabilities. And suddenly, global intelligence agencies are watching extremely carefully, because if Iran is really telling truth, if Iran is holding some parts of its arsenal, what exactly remains hidden? Missiles, drone swarms, cyber attack, proxy militia across West Asia. And yes, at the very same time, reports suggest Iran has restricted airspace over parts of western Iran, immediately triggering speculation about possible military preparation or upcoming operations. Oil markets are nervous, military analysts are nervous, and Gulf countries are nervously calculating the worst case scenario. Because let's be honest, one thing is becoming increasingly clear tonight. The Iran-Israel and the US confrontation is no longer just about one battlefield. It is becoming a regional power struggle, and that too with global consequences. And while Iran threatens new military scenario, America's most advanced drone fleet may already be suffering humiliating losses in that region. Now, for years, America's MQ-9 Reaper drones symbolized fear and dominance. Silent killer in the sky, highly advanced, highly expensive, and supposedly extremely difficult to stop. But guess what? Tonight, Iran claims that those drones are falling. Well, reports now suggest that the United States may have lost nearly $1 billion worth of MQ-9 Reaper drones during high-intensity operation linked to the conflict. Can you think about what this really means? Weapons designed to dominate modern warfare suddenly becoming vulnerable. According to reports, several drones were destroyed through missile strikes, air defense engagements, and operational incidents. And this story matters far beyond Iran because the entire world studies America's military performance very carefully. China studies it, Russia studies it, North Korea studies it, and every destroyed drone, it sends a message that even America's most advanced technology, it can bleed under enough pressure. And now, military experts, they are asking uncomfortable question. Have drone wars entered a new era? Basically a new phase. Are modern air defense system becoming strong enough to challenge unmanned dominance? Could cheap missile system eventually neutralize billion-dollar American military technology? And perhaps the most important one, if drones become easier to destroy, how does that change future wars involving China, Taiwan, or Russia? Because tonight, this is no longer just only about hardware losses. This is about America's military image itself. And wait, while advanced American drones struggle in the skies, another threat is now emerging at the sea near one of the world's most critical trade route. Tonight, global shipping companies are once again on the edge. A tense maritime confrontation near Yemen's Socotra Island has triggered fresh fear, and that too about the safety of one of the world's most important trade choke points. We are talking about Bab al-Mandab Strait. Ladies and gentlemen, according to reports, a suspicious boat carrying armed individuals rapidly approached a commercial tanker before security guards on board fired the warning shots to force it away. No injuries were reported though, no damage was reported, but the fear, it spread immediately because this whole incident, it happened near one of the most strategically sensitive shipping routes on the planet Earth. Well, huge amounts of global oil and trade passes through this particular region. If instability increases over there, the economic consequences can spread worldwide, and that too extremely fast. And tonight, the bigger fear is this. Are Iran-backed groups slowly maybe expanding maritime pressure against global shipping? Because, let me tell you, over the past few months, commercial vessels, oil tankers, and cargo ships, they have increasingly become part of geopolitical conflict. One attack, one hijacking, one missile strike, that is all it takes to shake global market. Shipping companies are already calculating risk, insurance prices are rising, navies from multiple countries remain on high alert, and suddenly the entire world is slowly realizing that modern wars are no longer fought only on land. They are fought through trade routes, shipping lanes, oil choke points, and economic pressure. But while tensions rise in West Asia, another giant confrontation is quietly building in Asia between America and China. Tonight, the Taiwan Strait, it looks more dangerous than ever. Reports suggest America plans to move very powerful Typhoon missile system closer to Chinese-controlled waters. And wait, Beijing is really furious. China reportedly sees this as a direct provocation. America calls it deterrence, and suddenly the Indo-Pacific is becoming one of the world's most dangerous military flashpoint. Now, understand why this matters. Taiwan is not just an island in global politics. It is one of the biggest potential triggers for a future superpower war. China views Taiwan as part of its own territory, while America increasingly signals support for Taiwan's defense, and countries like Japan and Australia, they are watching very nervously from nearby. Here, experts now fear that the whole region could enter a cycle of escalation. More military deployment, more naval patrol, more missile system, more aggressive signaling, and eventually greater risk of miscalculation. Well, China's warning, they are becoming more sharper. America's military position is becoming stronger, and terrifying part is this. Sometimes war do not begin because countries want war. Sometimes war begins because nobody wants to appear weak here. And wait, as China's tension rise, another terrifying possibility is now haunting Washington. Simultaneous nuclear pressure from North Korea. Tonight, American defense planners are confronting a nightmare scenario. What happens if America faces crisis involving Iran, China, and North Korea at the same time? Because, according to reports, ladies and gentlemen, North Korea's expanding nuclear arsenal is now creating fresh fear across Washington and Asia. Here, analysts warn that Pyongyang could eventually overwhelm parts of America's missile defense system if tensions escalate dramatically. And now concerns are growing over Kim Jong-un's rapidly advancing intercontinental missile program. Can you think about how much the world has changed? Years ago, North Korea was often mocked internationally. Today, it is being discussed as a serious long-term nuclear threat capable of reshaping the global balance. Reports suggest that North Korea could massively expand its nuclear stockpile over the next decade. And suddenly, America faces multiple pressure points, and that too simultaneously. Iran in the West Asia, China near Taiwan, Russia in Europe, North Korea in Asia. Well, this is exactly what terrifies strategic planners because superpowers are strongest when handling one crisis at one time. Multiple simultaneous crises, well, that becomes much harder. And tonight, one frightening question is spreading very quietly through military circles. Could America's global enemies eventually coordinate pressure altogether? While America worries about global military threat, while Washington was rocked tonight after Tulsi Gabbard suddenly announced her resignation from one of America's top intelligence positions. Now, officially, the reason involves around her husband's serious health condition. The US President, Mr. Donald Trump, he publicly praised her service, and officials confirmed leadership transition plans immediately. But in Washington, sudden exits, they always trigger speculation. And tonight, political circles, they are buzzing with questions. Did growing Iran tension create internal disagreement? Well, were there conflict behind the scenes, or is this truly only a family's personal problem during a difficult time? Because timing, that matters a lot here in geopolitics. And this particular resignation, it comes exactly when America faces enormous geopolitical pressure involving Iran, Israel, China, Russia, and of course, election year tension at home. Tulsi Gabbard has always been one of the most unusual figures in American politics, though. Independent, controversial, outspoken, and difficult to place very neatly inside traditional party lines. And which is why her sudden departure, it immediately sparked online theories and political speculation. Inside Washington, well, perception matters almost as much as reality. And sudden leadership changes, and that too during global crisis, it always creates nervous conversation behind the closed doors. And while Washington struggles with political drama, another explosive controversy is now exposing America's deepening culture war in Texas. A city council meeting in Texas, it has now become national controversy. You know why? Because one speech, it triggered outrage, fear, and accusation of hate across America. Well, during a Fresco City Council meeting, a far-right activist reportedly delivered an inflammatory speech targeting immigrants, Hindus, and Muslims. The rhetoric quickly spread online, by the way. Clips went viral, and suddenly America's cultural wars exploded online. The speaker accused immigrant community of taking over. Critics called the comment very dangerous hate speech, but supporters, they defended them as warning about political and demographic change. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight immigrant communities across America, they are watching nervously because this is not only about one speech anymore. This reflects something bigger that is happening inside the United States. Rising anxiety over immigration, identity, religion, and cultural change. Texas itself, it's changing rapidly. More immigrants, more diversity, more political polarization, and in emotionally charged environment, fear spread extremely quickly. Well, for Indian Americans, specifically incidents like these, it creates a deep discomfort because many immigrants, they move to America chasing opportunity and stability. Now, some increasingly feel trapped inside growing political and cultural hostility. And finally, tonight, after all these stories, one terrifying reality that is becoming impossible to ignore. The world is entering a dangerous new era. Tonight's headlines, they may look very disconnected at first glance. Basically, a New York explosion, Iran threat, drone losses, shipping tension, China warning, North Korea fears, and political resignation with immigration anger. But together, they reveal something much bigger. The world is entering a new era of stability. Countries are rearming. Military tensions are rising, global powers are testing each other constantly, and economic pressure, technology war, AI competition, shipping routes, energy security, and political polarization, they all are colliding together at the same time. And you know what is the frightening part here? Nobody fully knows where this leads next. Because modern conflicts do not stay limited anymore. Everything connects globally now. One missile strike affects oil prices. One shipping attack affects inflation. One Taiwan crisis affects global technology market. One immigration speech creates international outrage online. And tonight, the world feels increasingly fragile. I'm Driti Atri. This was Skyline. And trust me, the next phase of this global story may be even more dangerous.